The Giants will be taking on the Seattle Seahawks this Sunday, and the first injury report has been released. And the Giants, they got some good news. And they also got some bad news. We're going to talk about it. But first, if you want Malik Nabers to play this Sunday and tear up the Seattle Seahawks, hit that thumbs up icon. Dealing with a concussion, did not practice today. His status for Sunday is in question. Do your part. Hit the like button, and let's go, Big Blue. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. We're going to go through the bad news of the injury report to start today's show, and then we're going to close the show with some good news as a player is returning off of IR and may play this Sunday. Malik Nabers, though, the bad news. He did not practice on Wednesday, and he remains in concussion protocol. And the wording that Brian Daboll used when describing Nabers and his status, I didn't think it was all too good for him playing on Sunday. Dan Salomone, who covers the Giants and works for Giants.com, says that Brian Daboll said Malik Nabers will not practice today as he is still in the early stages of the concussion protocol. They're taking it day to day. Look, this is bad news for Nabers and his designation for Sunday. He had a concussion last Thursday. It's been about a week. He didn't get back in the building until yesterday, is what I was told, and I don't think it's good they didn't practice on Wednesday and you're supposed to play on Sunday. Maybe the extra days over the weekend gives him a larger chance to play. But Jeff Mueller, who is a pro football doctor, and he tweeted this out, saying if Malik Nabers isn't practicing by tomorrow, talking about Thursday, I will assume plan on him being out. Slightly concerning since he had extra time after concussion occurred on Thursday night, but there is still time. Look, the Giants are going to be in major trouble. Well, they already are, having the deck stacked against them as they're 6-point dogs heading out west to play Seattle. And if you're without Malik Nabers, that line's going to change, and it's going to be a lot tougher for the New York Giants to generate any offense. Austin Gale, one of the best follows on NFL Twitter, Malik Nabers ranks among rookie wide receivers in week one since 2000. Since 2000, first in target share, first in target rate, first in touches, offensive snaps. He is the entire offense if he can survive it. And I'm not going to blame the Giants and Brian Daboll on why Malik Nabers has a concussion, but somebody on this wide receiver depth chart is going to have to step up if Nabers is out. He has been the engine. He has been the gas in the tank. He has been the one that has been doing the driving. He has been everything for this New York Giants team. They need someone else to step up. Maybe that's going to be Darius Slayton. Maybe that's going to be Jalen Hyatt. Maybe that's going to be Bryce Ford Wheaton. Maybe it's going to be Theo Johnson. Maybe it's going to be Tyrone Tracy. I can't really ask much more of Wan'Dale Robinson because they're using him just as much as they are Malik Nabers. The Giants are a two-man band right now at that wide receiver position. Wan'Dale Robinson, 38 targets this year, 4th in the NFL. Receptions, 26, 4th in the NFL. They're already force-feeding Robinson. They're already force-feeding Nabers. And I get it. You want to get your best players the football as early and as often as you can. But I want to see Brian Daboll work some other people in. The Giants need to get other players involved this week. And maybe it's the guy that you drafted in the 3rd round last year, that you traded multiple picks to go and get. Is this the week that Jalen Hyatt can play some football and get some targets and produce? He's played in 50 snaps this week. We've already played 4 games. Hasn't had a game this year with more than 15 snaps. He needs to play more football for this team. You want to be more explosive? How about add the guy that was the Biletnikoff winner? How about the guy that lit up Alabama? How about the guy that was unstoppable in the SEC in 2022-2023 season? Look, the guy had 16.2 yards per catch as a rookie. His average depth of target was 21 yards. He had 6 catches of more than 20-plus yards. If you want a guy that can push vertical, if you want a guy that can take the top off the defense, it's Jalen Hyatt. I know that he has limited route tree. I know that he needs to get stronger. I know he needs to be more refined as a route runner. But there's one thing he can do, and it is run. So put him in a spot, Brian Daboll, to be more successful. That's the number one job of a head coach, finding a way to put your players in the best spot to have success and help contribute to a win. Hyatt can do that. It's your job to figure it out. And the fact that people are coming up with the excuse that you can't play Hyatt because Daniel Jones can't throw the deep ball, that is ass backwards. Type 13 if you want to see Hyatt out there making some plays this Sunday. Some more bad news for the Giants on the injury report. Adoree Jackson, who did not play in Week 4 against the Dallas Cowboys, he did not practice on Wednesday as well, which makes me feel like his game day status is in jeopardy this Sunday. Still dealing with a calf injury. And we got the Calf brothers at the corner position. Adoree Jackson has a calf injury, and Andrew Phillips has a calf injury. After the first 3 weeks of the NFL season, Pro Football Focus had Drew Phillips as the number 1 rated rookie. But he's already had a couple of injuries pop up. They need him to be healthy. We need him out there. I'm not so sure it's going to be this Sunday against the 12s. Also, some other injury news that we're going to talk about. We got a running back to talk about. We're going to talk about Brian Burns. Devin Singletary also dealing with an injury, dealing with a groin injury. Did not practice on Wednesday. Could that potentially mean that someone else in this backfield is going to get some looks? Could we see some more from Tyrone Tracy, who I like what I have seen so far? There hasn't been a lot of production. 29 yards on 12 carries. Had some success in the passing game. We saw last week against the Cowboys. They motioned him out wide, and he ran a go route. He couldn't get his feet down. Jones didn't keep him in bounds all that well. And there was a penalty that would have brought that play back anyways. But, look, if Singletary's not ready to go, it's got to be next man up. It's got to be Tyrone Tracy. Maybe we see some Eric Gray as well. And maybe Dante Turbo Miller gets elevated from the practice squad. Guys that were limited at practice on Wednesday, Brian Burns dealing with a groin injury. He's been nursing this groin injury for a couple of weeks now. It's what had him pop up on the injury report. I don't remember if it was the game before the Dallas Cowboys game. That Friday he was out of the injury report, but he ended up playing. I believe that was against the Cleveland Browns or the Washington Commanders. But there's been a lot of talk that Brian Burns hasn't been good this year. And look, I know he only has 1 sack, and you might be looking like, well, he isn't doing anything. He has the best defensive grade of his career from Pro Football Focus. He has the best run defense grade of his career from Pro Football Focus. He has the best tackling grade of his career from Pro Football Focus. And he's got one of the better pass rushing grades so far throughout his career via Pro Football Focus. Look, has he been awesome? No. Has he been spectacular? No, but he's done his job, and he's made plays when he had to. Would we like more? Absolutely. But I can't just forget what he did against Cleveland on a strip sack. I can't forget about the 3rd down sack against Washington that got taken off the field because of the Andrew Phillips holding. Does have 1 sack this year. Also has a forced fumble. He's got 11 pressures. He's got 13 tackles and 2 tackles for loss. Obviously, we would like more. We'd like for him to be the best football player in existence, but I think we also need some help from some other guys. Love seeing Kayvon Thibodeau get going in that Dallas Cowboys game. Hopefully, he can continue the momentum and continue to roll and play good football this year. Boogie Basham's been a healthy scratch all year, like what I've seen from Azeez Ojulari. And maybe Ojulari is going to ask to be doing more this week if Burns is limited or worst-case scenario does not play. Don't anticipate that happen. I think Burns is going to play maybe on a little bit lower of a pitch count, but I want to see more of 0 and 5 and 51. Let's get them all rolling. Let's keep them fresh and have them pin their ears back on 3rd and long. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel because if we get any more news on the Giants leading up to game day, we're going to break it down. And we are trying to catch Seattle Seahawks today, hosted by Tyler Jones here at Chat Sports. We're 1.1 thousand subscribers away. If all the people that watch these videos subscribe, we'd be past them. 50% don't subscribe. Help a friend, help a fellow Giants fan out, and smash that sub button. We need your help. The good news for today's video. Some positive injury news. It's awesome. We can talk about somebody coming back from injury that I think is going to help this football team, and that's Matthew Adams. He had a good preseason. He's coming back from IR. Not officially, but they have opened up his 21-day practice window, and he was a full participant at practice on Wednesday, which tells me he's going to be elevated by the Giants from IR for this Sunday, and he might even suit up, which is much needed because the Giants have been extremely thin at that inside linebacker spot. You got Okereke and you got McFadden, and after that, it's a lot of question marks. Muasau played solid in week 1, but he's also been dealing with injuries of his own. You already had to upgrade Ty Summers to the active roster for the practice squad, and Curtis Bolton is on the practice squad as well. Maybe won't see Adams all that much in base defense sets, but you're going to see a lot of them in the special teams department. So good news, Matthew Adams most likely going to be elevated from IR as he was a full participant with his 21-day practice window opening up. Also, want to just take a look at the Seahawks injury news, and some of this is good news as well. I don't love saying that it's good news that another team's best players are hurt, but it's football, and you know what? Facts are the facts. Leonard Williams did not play last week, and he was really good the first couple of weeks, and I'm sure he wants to tell the Giants and show the Giants that they made a mistake. He's got a rib injury. Tyler Jones thinks he's going to be questionable, the host of the Seahawks Report. Uchenna Nwosu, an edge rusher, he's dealing with an MCL injury. He's probably going to be questionable. Jerome Baker, a hamstring injury. He's probably going to be questionable. Then Boye Mafe, an edge rusher, questionable. Byron Murphy, the guy that a lot of people thought was one of the best D tackles coming into the NFL recently, he's questionable with a hamstring. And Julian Love, once a Giant, always a Giant, except Saquon Barkley, dealing with a thigh injury. He is questionable as well. So some good football players for the Seahawks are questionable. And I think they should all just take the week off. Like, the Giants are no good. Go rest Leonard Williams. Go rest all of you guys. And then make sure you're ready to go for week 6 against the San Francisco 49ers. That would be really good for the future of the Seahawks. So good news. Matthew Adams back. Maybe some good players for the Seahawks not playing. Who do you got, though? Who do you got? NYG, SCA. Let me know your thoughts. And make sure you are following me on social media, trying to grow my pages over there because the bosses told me that I suck at my job. Give me a follow at Marshall Green _, and we'll see you later.